Here we go. Hello everyone and welcome back to our Amonkhet full set review. Next up we're going through the blue cards, so hooray for blue.
Yes, blue cards.
Again joining me is Anthony, ready for some
Hey
blue?
guys. Yeah, blue. I've took a quick look through the blue cards this morning, and I'm pretty excited about playing blue in this set. This looks really good.
Looks like some fun stuff in here. Some very
Yeah.
interesting and weird cards as well. So let's get started
Mm.
with our blue god. We have Kefnet. So he's a bit interesting. Kefnet the Mindful is
Yeah.
2 blue. He's sort of the new Thassa for 5, a 5/5 for 3. He's flying and indestructible, but he can't attack unless you have 7 or more cards in hand. To help you get there, he has an activated ability, 3 in a blue, draw a card, and then you may return a land you control to its owner's hand, if you like.
Yeah. I'm not huge on him, to be honest.
Don't love Kefnet?
Drawing a card is cool. I'll probably play him in my blue decks. I just don't think I'll ever be able to attack with him. It's just having 7 cards is not an easy thing to do. I don't think, especially in limited. I'm thinking more limited, I guess. But in terms of an enchantment that's just 4 draw a card, that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this would be a good mana sink late in the game that occasionally becomes a gigantic creature, so I can see this being useful. We've got our invocation version here as well, which kept
That's
at the
pretty
moment.
sweet.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll probably play it in limited, but I'm not. If there's a really good uncommon, I'll probably take that first.
Oh, yeah. I can see myself taking the mind control over this.
Mind control, it's a bit expensive, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, so yeah, not a bad card. I think it's weird, and it's too slow for standard at the moment as well, so it's probably not going to get very far there.
Yeah, unfortunately.
All right, let's see some other blue cards. We're going to start off with an Ancient Crab. So this is a very simple card. It's a 1/5 for 3, 1 blue for a gigantic crab. Real big butt, real good blocker, kind of a wall. Doesn't do much else.
Yeah, you're playing this in your real long game defensive blue decks, and it will do it will do its job. It's just boring.
This is a good way to get Kefnet online, is just sit there behind this until you have 7 cards again.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
All right.
One small thing to notice: the white cards. I noticed they were all 2/2s. There weren't too many 2/1s, so this won't be killing as many things as much as bouncing off things. So
Yes.
that's just something to
Unfortunately.
notice.
There was a couple of 2/1s, like the first Strike Exert guy, but mostly no. They're 2 toughness.
Sure.
All right. This one's a bit more interesting.
Oh yeah, this is a card I want to play with. Angler Drake, 4 blue for a 4/4 flyer. When Angler Drake enters the battlefield, you may return target creature to its owner's hand. I am all for this card. This card is right up my alley.
Yeah.
I'll be playing a lot of this card. Pass them to me.
I don't think I'm going to be passing too many of these. It's just it's a dragon, a drake, a little dragon, and it comes with an unsummon. So the tempo plus the creature is just great.
It's what is it? Mist Raven
Yes.
with just a bigger one.
yeah,
So
big Mistraven. That's good. Yeah, so definitely pick this and play this because it's great in your blue decks.
yeah, if you don't pick it, I will, and I'll be happy to.
Okay. As foretold. Just take us through this card because this is a very strange mythic.
Do I have to? 2 and a blue for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a time counter on as foretold. Once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for a spell you cast with converted mana cost X or less, where X is the number of time counters on as foretold. I am never going to play this card, ever.
No? So
And,
talking limited, just don't play it.
Yeah, no, don't play it. Don't put it in your deck. It's cool, flashy, mythic, but no.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, and I tend to agree. And it is a spell, so you can cast creatures with this, but you're still not going to want to do so.
Yeah, but you could probably cast the creature anyway. I mean, what are you getting out that's free? Like, are you waiting 6 turns to cast your 6-drop? I mean,
Yeah, no, you're not going to be doing this. It's not good in limited, so I agree there. When are we casting this? When are we using this?
never.
No?
Not me.
Not
What's
even
his
with this
name?
thing?
Yeah, see, I don't play modern, so I don't really, or
Or maybe
any
this
other
one?
format. Yeah, yeah, Sure. I honestly, yeah, this is you go with it. I have nothing good to add on this.
Yeah. Again, so this card is some applications potentially for modern, where you can do things like cast a suspend card like Restore Balance or Ancestral Vision immediately, because it gives those cards an alternate cost of 0. Even though you couldn't usually cast them, they can be cast. And Balance is, despite its name, not fair. It's a terribly unbalanced card when played.
Restore balance.
Yes, so
Choose the number of lands she controls equal to the number of lands controlled by the player who controls the fewest. Okay. Then sacrifice the rest players, sacrifice creatures, and discard cards the same way. Sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see the value in that.
yeah, so in a control deck, it's at least a Wrath, because you probably don't have any creatures, so you kill all of their creatures, and they have to be sacrificed. Then similarly with discarding cards or lands and that sort of thing, just sort of balances out the field in theory.
Yeah.
In addition, this is a pretty sweet commander card, because those counters can be proliferated, so you put it in your Atraxa deck, because Atraxa needed more help for some reason. Yeah. So this is going to be a fun mythic in other formats, in Eternal formats, and then possibly in Modern and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay, sure. I see what you mean, but I'm going to open this card and be miserable every single time in a draft. I'm just
Oh, yeah.
gonna hate my life.
I want to pick this up like 10th or 11th so that I can put it in my binder.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Alright, let's move on from As Foretold.
Even Initiate. This is a card that I'll pick over that. 3 and a blue for a 3/2 flying, and it has Embalm for 7. So 3/2 flyer for 4 is generally, what you would expect. It's not bad. But having Embalm, it just means you get something extra to do late game. I think this is a really, really good card.
Yeah, this is fine, I think. And you would, as you said, you'd play that as a card without Embalm most of the time, and the Embalm is just a sweet upside. So.
Yeah, huge fan.
Plus you get a zombie bird warrior.
Yeah.
For reasons. Cancel is back. We've seen Cancel many times. It's really sweet art, and I'm looking forward to finding a foil of this Cancel.
Yeah,
Really
art
pretty.
is really sweet.
Yeah.
Other than that,
One white counter target spell, probably
Blue.
played in your blue decks. One blue, yes. Know what I'm talking about.
yeah, I don't like it in limited that much. Depends how late the format is. There's a lot of abilities, I think. Like in Embalm, it doesn't get that. And the mana sinks more abilities, I think. So yeah, if there's a bomb that you just can't deal with, chuck it in. But I think it's a sideboard card.
I would usually play one of these in blue decks, just as it's sort of my blue removal. You have a few bounce effects, so you can bounce a problem and then counter it on the way back, sort of stuff. So I think it's okay. But again, you're not needing more than one of this most of the time.
Yeah, and there is a better counterspell coming up. So
there are a couple of better counters
in this set. Yeah.
We have our next cartouche. So this is another Aura cartouche. 1 blue. The creature gets +1/+1 and flying, so pretty good. And when it enters, you draw a card.
Okay, I like this one a lot better than the other one.
Yeah, this is nice. This it replaces itself, so you don't get 2 for 1.
Yeah, and I think I like flying better than First Strike. It attacks better, definitely. Blocks not as well, but I think this is really good. Not really good. As good as an Aura gets, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen this effect before. I think it was Stratus Walk from Theros. It was similar, except it had the downside of it that creature could only block creatures with flying as well. So this is better than Stratus Walk. Getting the card back is really important.
Yeah, and it has some, of course, those little synergy with the trials. So
yeah, so if you have a good trial, that'd be good too.
Like the blue one.
Yeah. All right. So we have Censor, which is not Miscalculation.
No, it's not the same. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1, and cycling of a blue. Now this for me is going to teach me how important cycling is on a pretty bad card. Because this can get you when you're curving out. To be fair, so and it's going to annoy the hell out of me when it happens to me. Whether or not in the late game you just fetch it, cycle it away, but early game sometimes it might get your opponent. It's just so risky.
Yeah, I think in Limited it's strange because people don't curve out as often in Limited as they do in more constructed events. So
That's true.
usually 4 spikes are better in constructed because people are curving out really neatly.
I don't know. I kind of like force spike in cube.
Yeah, cube is a lot closer to constructed than
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
than not.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is decent. And if you play this in game 1, I always side it out game 2. If I get someone with a 4 spike, I side it out because they've seen it, so they're going to play around it more often. So I just get rid of it.
So you just mess with them.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I make them play around a card that's not in my deck anymore.
Yeah, yeah. No, I like that. I like that.
So
Cool.
I think this is going to be okay. We have to wait and see how it plays, but it should be okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have a compelling argument to play mill?
No. No, this card's garbo. Unless you're self-milling and you've got like a lot of embalm and reanimate stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
Yeah, no, me either. I don't think it was very good.
I think I'm going to try it one of these drafts. Once I get a little bit bored in the format, I'm going to try and pick up as many of these as I can because it's a common.
Yeah.
And then just see if I can get the 10 like compelling argument deck or something like that.
Yeah, no.
But it's not going to work.
I just when I come up against a mill deck like this, when they've done it, in game 2, I always just add 20, 25 cards to my deck.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right.
It never works. I've never seen mill in limited work.
It could be a thing in 2HG.
Maybe. Yeah, you've got your partner there to sort of protect you for a little while.
Yeah, you got 12 packs of commons.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
All right. Cryptic Serpent.
The artwork on this is beautiful. 5 blue for a 6/5 serpent. It costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. I like this card.
Is this a compelling argument? Self-mill yourself, get these sorceries?
Yeah, no.
Still no?
No. But this is a cool card. I'll be happy to play this. It's not the same as the one from Kaladesh because it had a really cool unblockable ability. But this is just a big dumb dude that you can get for maybe 5 mana.
Yeah.
6/5 for 5 is pretty good.
This is good stats. Even if you have to play full retail, a 7 mana 6/5 in blue is pretty good.
Yeah.
I recently have to play that. But yeah, nowhere near Gearseeker Serpent. Like this is because it was
Yeah.
easier to make cheaper and it had unblockability. So
Yeah.
all right, decent card.
Oh, baby, this card is so cool. Curator of Mysteries, 2 blue for a 4/4 Sphinx. With flying, of course. Whenever you cycle or discard another card, scry 1, and it has cycling for a blue. This is another one of those ones that you're never cycling. But I just love this card. I don't know. I've got a thing for Sphinxes, I think. 4/4 for 4 is huge stats. Yeah, this card's going to wreck people.
Yeah, it's a great limited card and possibly constructed card in some casual decks. When we get up to Drakehaven in a little while, I'll take through my very wacky sort of deck that can be built with that thing. But yeah, I think this is a sweet one. Definitely a bomb in limited, so pick and play that guy. And don't cycle it. Do not put this into your graveyard.
Yeah.
Decision Paralysis. I don't know what to make of this one.
3 and a blue for an instant. Tap up to 2 target creatures. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. That's pretty powerful. It's one of those cards that's better in aggressive decks, or decks with a bunch of evasion, so you can just get through while their big guys on the ground aren't hitting you. So I tend to shy away from these, but that does give you a good tempo boost.
I don't think you want a lot of this effect, but I can see playing 1 or 2 of these. As you say, being instant speed is the most important part on this card because it taps it down for 2 turns.
Yeah, and it really is important to remember. You don't want to have no creatures on the board when you're playing this. You want to be hitting them while they're not doing anything. Otherwise, the card is just putting off the inevitable. Yeah,
it's just a fog.
So you want it in more aggressive or evasive type decks, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Drakehaven.
Oh, it's so pretty.
All right, and I'm gonna just sneak this card in here with it. Forgotten Creation. You forgot about
Yes.
this one. So, Drakehaven, 2 and a blue for an enchantment. When you cycle or discard a card for any reason, like Forgotten Creation, you may pay 1, and if you do, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. So, janky standard decks incoming, because you get to discard your hand every turn with Forgotten Creation, pay that much mana, and make that many 2/2 blue Drakes.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
That sounds awesome. The problem is you're not doing anything until turn 5.
Yeah. You're probably dead.
Yeah, probably.
But I'm
Your
sure
1
there's
and
gotta
2
be
drops
something.
better be great.
Yeah. There'll be something to do earlier in the game, but
Yeah, no, this is cool. I actually want to build a deck with this. I want to play standard with this card.
yeah, there's got to be
I
a
really
discard
like it.
cycle deck. This and the demon that we'll see in black
Yep.
can do a lot of good things. So.
There might even be a red-blue one with a red card that's coming up as well.
Yeah, fun card. Are we playing this in limited at all? Like, you gonna try and build this deck in limited?
Oh yeah, every time.
So you
Every time.
pick one, pack one, and then take all the cyclers.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of crappy cyclers that people won't want.
looking forward
The
to
good thing
seeing that.
about it, the reason I like that as well is that cycling helps you find your pieces. So it sort of helps you get there. Like with a lot of other combo decks, you just have to get your 2 cards and have them work together. But the cycling helps you find your Drakehaven. So I'm looking forward a lot to drafting with this card.
So yeah, definitely harkening back to things like Astral Slide and the other red one that I'm failing to remember.
I can't remember the name of it, but that was not fun either.
Yeah. Not quite as good as those, but certainly a bit of fun to be had with this card.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to drafting with this.
Alright, here's your counterspell.
This is the one. This is a blue removal spell, and you should take it as a 2-mana removal spell. Essence Scatter, obviously, it only hits it on the cast, and if it's already there, it doesn't do it. But Essence Scatter, when it's in limited, you just want them, and you just want to hold up your mana in turn 2 and get them.
Alright, this is as close to blue Doomblade as you're going to get.
Yeah, this card's really good, and you should take them, and if you're in sealed, you should play them if you're in blue. All of them. If you have 4, play all 4.
Yeah, great card. Pick these up as much as you can, because they're going to do great work for you.
Yep.
Floodwaters, not so much. This one is a 6 mana sorcery, 4 blue. Return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hands. Yeah, okay. Double on summon.
It's kind of Cyclonic Rift.
No. in that it has cycling and it occasionally returns things to its owner's hand. Yeah.
And that it's sorcery.
This is a terrible card unless you've got Drakehaven.
Yeah, well, these are the cards you're going to get when you've got Drakehaven. This card, bouncing 2 creatures, yeah, it's usually not worth it, and cycling probably doesn't make it worth it either. Yeah.
No, I'll take the Angler Drake in for my 6 mana bouncer thing.
Yes, I'll definitely take that over this.
So avoid Floodwaters. Gale Strike, maybe don't avoid this as much.
Yeah, no, I kind of like this one. Return target tap creature to its owner's hand, draw a card. The thing is with bounce, instant speed bounce spells is you usually do it after they attack. So this is going to be an unsummon with draw a card, just most of the time. It's going to be annoying when you're trying to get in for the last points of damage, so you don't have the versatility, but I'll still play this.
Yeah, this is going to be really good against combat tricks. It's also going to make you think a little bit about whether or not you play this during combat or at the end of the turn. Because if you play it during combat, they can replay the creature immediately. If you play it at the end of the turn, it's up in their hand for a turn. So.
Yeah. So you got to weigh that up. Another thing is going to be with exert is, do you get them once they've exerted, because their creature's going to be tapped down for a turn. So putting it back in their hand means they get it back that turn. So it's an interesting play here. But overall, I think I like this card.
I guess if you have a lot of mana, you can return your own exert creatures and replay them as well.
Yeah. Also note that there's the untap triggers and things that can happen. Like if your opponent untaps their creature, it doesn't get bounced. So
Yes.
just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, there's a Vizier in blue that untaps a permanent, so it becomes an illegal target if the creature you target becomes untapped before this resolves, is what you're trying
Yeah.
to say. Yeah.
Yeah, and you won't get to draw your card either.
Yes, so be careful of that one. Next, the Glyph Keeper, another Sphinx for you.
Yeah, this is a rare I want to open as well. 3 blue, 5/3 flying Sphinx. Whenever it becomes the target of a spell or ability for the first time each turn, counter that spell or ability. And then it's got Embalm for 7. This card is absurd.
This is going to be this is really annoying. This reminds me of the Sphinx from, I think it was in Innistrad area. It had Hexproof. Sphinx, the final word. It might have been before then.
Okay, yep.
It was, just a Hexproof Sphinx. It couldn't be targeted. It was the most annoying thing to play against.
I played that in Standard. That was great.
I lost many games to that thing. And this one, you get to see it do it twice with Embalm. So even if you do spend 2 cards to kill this thing, you need to do it again.
4 for 1. The downside of it is obviously it doesn't block that great. So you can just swing through it sometimes.
It blocks reasonably well because it blocks twice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you don't really want to be doing that with this card.
True.
But 5 power flyer for 5 is absurd. This card's really, really good.
I guess it's also worth noting for those who may not be fully reading the cards, this is not hexproof. You can't target your Sphinx either. So if you want to put a buff on it, that won't work. Unless it's the second one for the turn.
Yeah. And then you open it up to removal.
Yes. Alright, so Glyph Keeper, good card. Pick and play your Sphinxes. The Heckma Sentinels is next. It's 2 and a blue, and for a 2/3 human cleric, which is okay on the vanilla test. Not something you're really excited about. And when you cycle or discard a card, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So.
Yeah, that's okay. This is the variant of the 2/3 prowess creature that we've seen a couple of times. Yep. It's fine, but just be aware that they could buff it, but you're always aware of the prowess anyway. So, yeah, you know what you're getting into. Fine card, but
it's filler commons.
Yeah.
Here we have Better Than Inspiration. This is Inspiration strictly better with upside. It's instant 4 mana, draw 2 cards, and you can also cycle it. So just pitch it, draw a card for blue.
Yeah. Hieroglyphic Illumination. Yeah. This is the kind of card you want to play in a blue deck, holding up your counters and having other instant speed things to do. I can't see myself cutting this. I think this is actually quite good.
No, and I think you play just about as many of these as you end up with because of that cycling ability. Usually your 4 mana draw cards is not as good, but the fact you can get rid of it early is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Pick and play many Hieroglyphic Illuminations.
Really cool art as well.
Yeah. Illusory Wrappings.
This is another good blue card. 2 and a blue for an enchantment aura. You can enchant a creature, and it has base power and toughness 0/2. So it just shrinks their guy down to a useless zombie dude. It doesn't get rid of their powers or their abilities. So be aware of that. But yeah, it'll be cool using this on a god.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Granted, the god again, as you said, still has its abilities, so you'll still be able to play and do its other things. It'll still be indestructible and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Blue seems pretty good so far. We're getting some nice blue removal cards, which is unusual for blue. Alright, yeah, so pick and play your Illusory Wrappings. It also be aware it can still block, so it's still a chump blocker on the ground.
Yeah.
Alright, Labyrinth Guardian. So this is a 1 and a blue for a 2/3. So it's an illusion warrior. So it has the illusion ability. If it becomes the target of any spell, sacrifice it. So almost the illusion ability. Usually abilities targeting it also kill it. But this one's only spells. And also has Embalm for 3 and a blue, so you can bring it back. So after they've targeted it with a spell to get rid of it, you can bring it back again.
Yeah, I like this card quite a bit, actually. The stats are really good. Obviously, there's a downside coming with it, but they have to spend a card. They can't just use an ability now. So I'm more than happy to play this. And then you get it back.
Yep.
No, this card's very good. Very good.
Yeah, this blue-white Embalm deck and aggressive deck, this is going to go really well in the aggressive tempo-based decks.
Yeah. Question is, how do you embalm an illusion?
Very carefully. Alright. Here is your mind control.
Yes, this is the card. This card is so good. 5 blue blue for lay claim. You enchant a permanent and then you control it. And you can cycle it if you absolutely have to. Now, this is overcosted compared to normal, but if it cost 5, it'd be the best card in the set. So costing 2 more and then having cycling on it as well just makes it the best card in the set.
Well, I guess normally we see this. This would be enchant a creature, steal a creature for 4 or 5 mana, and that's very good. The fact that it's a permanent, so you can take anything you want, even if it's not a creature. The fact that it has cycling is where you get that 7 mana from. And the art is just perfect. Like that's literally what you're going to be doing. You're just like yoink, that's mine now.
That's it.
This is also similar to an old blue card which had Split Second, which was 7 mana enchant permanent. So that the benefit of that was they couldn't do anything with it.
Like sacrifice it or something like that. Okay. Yeah, I love this card. This card's so cool.
Yeah, a really cool one. That's if you top end blue card to steal their bomb. If you don't have any bombs, just borrow your opponents and kill them.
Yeah. Always play
Yes.
in blue. Always.
A Naga Oracle. So another 2/4. This is 4 mana 2/4. So serviceable body. And you get a little bit of a bonus. When it enters the battlefield, you can look at the top 3 cards of your library. You can pitch any of them you want to the graveyard, and the rest go back on top.
So this is kind of cool. For 4 mana, it's a little bit less exciting than for 3 mana, of course, but it's got a cool little sort of look at the top of your library ability. Can put some embalm creatures in your graveyard to get some value there. I like it.
Yeah, decent little card. Interesting flavor text. All questions be answered during the Hour of Revelation. So I don't know if that comes before or after the Hour of Devastation, which we know is coming up, but we're going to have to wait and find out. There's obviously several hours on Amonkhet that are named.
But you would think the revelation came before the devastation.
You may get a revelation because of the devastation. To wait and find.
If you're still alive.
If you're still alive, yes. You have to survive the devastation to get the revelation.
Okay, cool.
But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. So yeah, play your Naga Oracles if you need some 4-drops.
Yeah. Alright. New perspectives. 5 and a blue for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. As long as you have 7 or more cards in your hand, you may pay 0 rather than pay cycling costs. So that last ability is irrelevant. This is 6 mana to draw 3 cards, and that is okay.
Yeah, at sorcery speed, I mean, this is one more for Jace's Ingenuity at sorcery speed. So that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it's worse than Opportunity.
And if you
I don't like it.
No, I don't love it. I think I would possibly put it in my deck, but I'm not going to be picking it early. And the cycling,
this is
maybe.
Sorry, go.
Free cycling isn't terrible. Like, you may have.
Sure. You've got a bunch of new cards, and you don't have to use your mana to cycle, which is cool. But the it's just this is going to get picked higher than it should because it's a rare. But so I'll probably never end up with it.
Unfortunately, this should wheel, but almost never will at most of the drafts that we're in.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Open in Wonder. This one's probably a little bit better. Oh, sorry, this is not the card I thought it was. Open in Wonder is X target creatures can't be blocked this turn until end of turn. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So this is a pretty good way to draw 3 cards. We put your 6 mana in.
It's definitely it relies on having creatures though that you want to attack with. So I actually just don't even see the draw a card thing. I think this is just a good way to end the game. Maybe a white blue deck. You've hit you've hit them down a bit. They've stabilized, and now they can't be blocked, and you finish the game off.
Yeah, certainly.
I think
if this doesn't end the game, the drawing the cards will end the game.
Yeah. It's really bad when you're behind, though, I think.
Yep.
Sure, you get to spend your turn drawing some cards, but your opponent's just going to smash your face in. So I think it's a bit hit and miss.
I think I would play this in most decks, most blue decks that I'm running, but
Yeah, I'm leaning against it actually, but
Okay.
that's probably wrong just because it can just win a game.
Yeah, not an effect you want lots of, but yeah,
Yeah.
if you're behind, this is terrible.
Mm.
All right, let's see what else we have. This was the thing I thought it was. The other X blue blue spell. Draw X cards, then discard a card. This is half of Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah, and it's still damn good. You don't gain the life obviously, but drawing X cards, um, this scales really well. You just always play this in limited, always.
Yeah.
And in constructed, I think if there's a control deck, which is a big if, this could just this will be one of the linchpins, I think.
Absolutely. I think this could be what helps push a control deck through. I mean, it still needs to deal with the aggressive problem that we've got at the moment of all the Mardu vehicles and the green-black just getting in early. But if it can survive the early game, this pushes you through to the late game.
Yeah. The bannings will deal with that.
If they ban. How well did the bannings work last time?
That's because they got rid of 1/2 mana vehicle and gave you a better one.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Pull from Tomorrow. Play this in limited. It's an incredibly powerful card. It just puts you in blue.
Yeah.
This does not put you in blue as much.
River Serpent, 5 and a blue for a 5/5 Serpent. It can't attack unless there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, and it has cycling. This is always going to be able to attack. Just with the amount of things going on with the graveyard, you're cycling a lot. Embalm kind of works against it a little bit, so be careful of that. But I think generally speaking, by the time you're casting this, you should be able to attack or very close to it. So
yeah, certainly.
This is fun.
And I think this is probably not the card you have with the blue-white decks as much as you play with blue and something else.
Yeah, you're more control decks.
Yeah, this is probably the easiest of the blue serpent attack criteria that we've seen. Usually they're things like your opponent has to control an island, or it has to be a Thursday of the 2nd of the month, or something like that. They're usually very restrictive, but this one's pretty easy.
Yeah, and worst case, you cycle it off. It's another one of those big drops that you can just cash in.
Yeah, definitely playing this card.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, this is a weird artwork. It's sort of blinding.
Yeah.
Sacred Excavation, 3 and a blue for a sorcery. Return up to 2 target cards with cycling from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, yeah, this is when I'm going deep. I want this card.
This is in Drakehaven for sure.
Yeah. Without question in Drakehaven. But the thing is, this just makes all your cycling cards way, way better, because even the good ones, like your mind control, you can pitch early and then know that you've got one of these in your deck that you can get it back later.
How many cyclers are you looking for, though? Like, how much do you need to be cycling in order to this?
Quite a bit. But I don't know. It's obviously going to be in. You're just not going to play it, I guess, if you don't have enough.
Yeah.
Which is sad, but this decks that I play that have this in it, they're going to be the fun decks that I'm playing.
Yes, yeah. You're just going to be cycling early and then play this, get them back.
Yeah.
I can see some fun with this, and Noah Bradley's done a good, interesting job with the art there. It's very white for a blue card.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Next up, we have Scribe of the Mindful. This seems interesting. It's a 3-mana bear, so 3-mana 2/2, and you can pay 1, tap, and sacrifice it to return an instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand.
So it's kind of like Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, okay. Let's say it's kind of like Snapcaster Mage. I was more thinking like a Chaomancer, something like that. Gets one back, but you kind of have to sacrifice the creature to do that. So not as good as Archaeomancer.
Yeah, no, I'm not a huge fan of this card.
No.
It's one of those in your blue control decks, like blue black or blue red, when you got a bunch of instant and sorcery and removal spells. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be getting bounce spells or that kind of stuff with this. It's just too slow.
Yeah, no, I can see this if you need a blue creature, because you can get back your Essence Scatters or something like that later in the game if you need them, and your removal spells.
Yeah.
Alright. Let's have a look at this one.
Seeker of Insight. 1 and a blue for a 1/3. Tap, draw a card, then discard a card. Activate this ability only if you've cast a non-creature spell this turn.
Now, if it stopped after that first sentence, this would be an outstanding card. Like I just
Yeah.
played in every blue deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not convinced about this card. It's going to give you, it might help you loot a couple of times, but it's such a lot of work. It's so much work to get that. It's
Yeah.
not. Yeah. You'd have to want the 2-drop and have a bunch of instants and sorceries in your deck.
Yeah, the restriction just absolutely kills it. Like looters are good, but not when you have to cast a spell to get your loot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Shimmer Scale Drake, another of our cyclers. So this is a good little card. It's a 5 mana 3/4 with flying, which is quite good stats. And you can also cycle it. So if you don't need it, you pitch it away early.
Yeah, I like both sides of this card. It's one I'm going to be. It's like what your staple for your blue decks. So you're going to be happy to play it.
Similar to the White Angels we've seen in the White set recently, this is a good card.
Yeah, got better stats though. So.
Alright, from a good card to a pretty terrible card, this is Flying Men. This is the Flying Men on Amonkhet. It's 1 mana for a creature that's hard to block. It gets in for 1 power, and I don't want to play this card.
Yeah, I hate these cards. But I can see people Voltroning it up with the cartouches and stuff, but I'm not a fan, personally.
Yeah. And I guess for those who are perhaps newer to Magic and that sort of thing, the reason that these are overvalued is people look at them as if I play this on turn 1 or turn 2, this gets in so much damage, and it overperforms really on turn 1 and turn 2. But after that, it becomes just terrible, because it doesn't get in the damage that you expect it to. If you draw it on turn 5 or turn 6, it's just the worst thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't trade with anything, it just sort of sits there looking crappy.
Well, it looks menacing, the art's kind of good, but it doesn't do very much.
Yeah. Actually, I quite like the Nagas in this set. I think they've done a really good job with the art.
Yeah, really cool.
I like that they're blue.
Yeah, that's right. Alright, we have a Tarkroth Skirmisher.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite artwork of the set, to be honest. I don't know why, it's just the colors of it. This looks so sweet. But yeah, Tarkroth Skirmisher is 1 and a blue for a 2/1 Naga Warrior, and it has Embalm. Now, usually your 2/1s for 2 in blue are crap, but this one's actually kind of good.
It's serviceable. The fact that you can get it back, it's a second body.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what you want for your defensive blue 2-drops. So I'm kind of happy to have this in my deck. And maybe I'm just biased because the artwork is so good.
Yes, I kind of like the fact that you can trade this off and then you get another body back later. That's sort of what the Embalm is there to do. Is you get an extra, like, half a card worth.
Yeah.
Alright. The Blue Trial.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, Trial of Knowledge. 3 and a blue for an enchantment. When Trial of Knowledge enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, then discard a card. When a cartouche enters the battlefield under your control, you can return it to your hand. So this makes me want to play cartouches.
Yeah, if you get a bit of Trial of Knowledge and possibly the red and the black trials when we get to those, these are probably worth playing cartouches for.
Yeah. I like this effect just in general. So draw 3 cards, discard a Embalm creature. Yes.
Willing to play, yeah. Would definitely play your trials. Don't want heaps of these things. Like you don't want to glut up your deck with them, I would think.
Yeah. It also works with Drakehaven.
It does, yes. You get a discard. That's
Yeah.
All right. So
You'd pay 5 mana to draw 3 cards and make a Drake token.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we have Double Clone. This is the Vizier of Many Faces. So she is a clone, 4 mana for a 0/0, but when it enters the battlefield, it enters as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. So you play it, when it hits the field, you choose something in play, and it is a copy of that. Except it also has Embalm, so 3 blue, and if you embalm it, the copy has no mana cost, is white, and it is a zombie in addition to its other types. So yeah, Double Clone, I think this is quite good.
Yeah, this is really good. Always take it, and you'll be happy to play it.
I think the Embalm also gets around the downside of Clone, which is you didn't always want to play Clone early because your opponent might play something better later. You don't get to clone that, but now you can clone the best thing, let it die, and then clone the best thing again.
Yeah, so it's kind of a 2-for-1. You just trade off with their thing and then trade off with their bigger thing.
It's a good card, definitely a first pickable rare there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm taking that every time. See, all these blue rares are so good.
Yeah, I can see myself being drawn into blue and then getting cut very often.
Nah. Force it.
Alright. Interesting Vizier here. I like this one.
Yeah, Vizier of Tumbling Sands, 2 and a blue for a 1/3 human cleric. You tap it to untap another target permanent. Note permanent, so you can use this as a ramper. And it's got cycling, and when you cycle it, you can untap target permanent.
Yeah, really neat. So this is, along with Renewed Faith, there's a cycle of cyclers. It's the cycling cycle at uncommon across the 5 colours. And yeah, the untapped target permanent. You're untapping exert creatures. Great little card.
Yep, exert creatures. You get to 5 mana on turn 4, which is pretty good. Yeah, this is a good card.
Yeah,
you're gonna be happy to play it.
Pick and play in blue. Blue seem pretty strong.
Yeah.
Alright, Winds of Rebuke.
1 and a blue for an instant. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Each player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I'd say the rest of that text isn't super important. I mean, it might be good for you, might be good for them. It's sort of a push. But yeah, returning a non-land permanent, just better than unsummon.
Yep. Can you get their scries? I don't think there's much scrying in this set, is there?
Little bits here and there.
Yeah. So it doesn't really affect that. If you're playing blue, you've got a bunch of Embalm, and I mean, make your deck with this in mind. Know that you've got some stuff there. Yeah. But yeah, this card's good.
It's unfortunate there's no time ebb. If there was a time ebb, you could put a creature on top of their opponent's library and then mill it. That would be nice, but
that's brutal.
But there's unfortunately haven't seen any of those effects.
Yeah. Oh, actually, there is one that's second from the top. I can't remember.
Oh yes, yeah. That's it's the blue split card.
Yep.
We'll probably see that shortly. So Winds of Rebuke, decent, but probably don't need to rush out and get a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
The Zenith Seeker, for which I wish interacted with our Zenith cycle, like Blue Sun Zenith and Green Sun Zenith, but doesn't. Instead, it's a 4-mana 2/2 flyer, which is pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of an upside where when you cycle a discard, you can give another creature flying. You could give it self-flying if you really wanted to, but you probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this, though it could be kind of brutal. And you go off, you give your whole team flying in one turn. I think it's going to be a role player, but it's really overcosted for what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see myself putting it in if I need creatures, but I don't really want to be playing this if I can avoid it.
Yeah.
And finally, this is the card you were talking about.
The rare. It's a rare, so yeah. Commit to Memory. So commit is 3 and a blue for an instant. Put target spell or non-land permanent into its owner's library, second from the top. And the aftermath, hang on. Each player shuffles his or her hand and graveyard into his or her library, then draws 7 cards. So Memory is pretty sweet.
So I mean, it's a time reversal, so you get to sort of get rid of something in play.
Yep.
But I don't it's not really an effect that's usually strong enough.
Yeah, I mean, but it's one of the, like, all of these Aftermath cards are cards that make you want to sort of self-mill a little bit. So commit into Memory, yeah, it costs a lot, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm not too happy with this, I guess. Commit's fine by itself, I guess. And Memory, yeah, I'll play it. I'll take it. I'll play it. I don't think I'm first picking it over, like, Mind Control or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I have some places in Commander and some more casual decks that I want this sort of effect in. Some blue spells decks and stuff like that. But Memory, I think, is actively bad in Limited. Because what happens is you might commit something and you'll get rid of it. That's fine. And Memory, on the next turn, shuffles it away into their library. So you get rid of a non-land permanent, great. But you then also give your opponent 7 new cards, and they have more mana to start using them before you do, because it's a sorcery speed effect. So
yeah,
you refresh both players' hands, and they get to use their hand first, which I just think is going to be terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it can really go either way, isn't it? It's just risky, isn't it? That's more of the downside, the risk. Because you both get it, and yeah, I guess they get first go at it. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So,
I haven't really thought about it that much. Yeah.
yeah. So I would try to avoid playing memory. If you like commit, then play commit. But I don't want to play memory if I can avoid it.
Okay, cool.
And that does it for our blue cards. Blue's looking pretty strong.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Drakehaven just, woo, can't wait.
Have some fun with Drakehaven. I think it's a good
Definitely.
limited color. So catch us back here for the black cards up next. See you all
Uh,
soon.
Yeah, see ya.